Hello, I am Jeremy Heath, 7th Dan Black Belt Master with MooDo Martial Arts in Sunset, Utah. Please note that training in the martial arts requires a respect for the human body, so if you have any training restrictions or any current injuries, they should be respected, as the training in the martial arts is designed to increase the body's strength and the strength of your mind and heart and not cause further damage. Basic overview of my school's training philosophy is that we train for street self-defense and practical application of the martial arts. We do not train for competitions. We do this because the rules for competitions are such that it is not possible to adapt those rules to street self-defense training. With competitions, there's always a center ring referee in order to make sure that nothing inappropriate occurs, or that if there's an injury, that medical assistance may be acquired. With street self-defense, you will get hit, you will be injured, but you must be able to continue to defend yourself through these injuries and not rely on somebody else to stop the fight and make sure that everything is okay. On the street, everything is random, including the contact surfaces that you will be using to defend yourself, the environment, and the things in your current environment that you might be able to use for weapons or that your opponent might be able to use for weapons against you. You must be adaptable. Competition training does not promote the ability to be adaptable to your environment. Our primary art is Tae-Kwon-Do, but as each art has strengths, each art also has weaknesses. The strengths of one art support the strengths of another. As a result, we not only train in Tae-Kwon-Do, we also train in Kenpo, Hapkido, Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Jiu-Jitsu, Wing Chun, and Muay Thai, rounding out our ability to adapt to the techniques that are being used against us so that we might return those techniques in like kind and become triumphant in any street fighting situation. The history of Tae-Kwon-Do can be traced back to the Hwarang warriors of Southeast Korea. At the time, that was known as the Silla dynasty. The Hwarang warriors were scholars just as much as they were the royal guard. Scholars of dance, of poetry, of math and science, and all good knowledge that was had at the time. Over time, the Hwarang warriors were the driving force for the unification of the three kingdoms of Korea. As the centuries moved on, the martial arts in the various areas of the world evolved. And in Korea, the primary art became known as Tae-Kwon. Tae-Kwon is an art of self-defense that relies heavily on rhythmic movement and dance in order to put them in a position to defend themselves. In 1955, a conference was called of the Tae-Kwon masters to discuss the possibility of changing the name of the art from Tae-Kwon to a name that more accurately described self-defense instead of dance. It was decided that the two arts would actually split. Tae-Kwon would remain as a dance self-defense art, and the new art would be called Tae-Kwon-Do. Tae-Kwon-Do literally translates into English as the art of smashing with the hands and feet. One of the primary masters of Tae-Kwon-Do, as it split off from Tae-Kwon in 1955, was General Chang. My school does descend from his lineage. Under General Chang, we have Grandmaster Jun Ri, who was the master who developed the forms or katas of Tae-Kwon-Do underneath General Chang. After Master Jun Ri, we have Master Tiger Kim of Korea, who taught many of the servicemen in the Korean War. Under Tiger Kim, we have Master Earl Austin and his student, Luis Trujillo. Under Master Luis Trujillo, we have Grandmaster Tyrone Aranda, who was my instructor. I am Jeremy Heath. As of this recording, I hold the rank of 7th Dan Black Belt Master. I began my training in August of 1986. I was a 9-year-old child. I had gotten some candy from the candy store, and on my way home with my brother and a family friend, two 16-year-old boys came up asked for some of our candy. We declined and invited them to purchase their own. One of them pulled out a knife, stuck it in my left shoulder, and again asked for candy. We gave them some and they went on their way. Within 2 weeks, I was enrolled in a martial arts class. Within our training, we do use a tracking system, as we do have multiple instructors in different classes. This assists the instructor in, at a glance, ascertaining the abilities and the knowledge of each individual student, while it also assists the student in understanding what they need to do next to achieve their next promotion. While in ancient Asia, specifically China, Japan, and Korea, belt systems were not used, as the martial arts was primarily handed down from father to son, and it stayed in the family. But in our society, where training in the martial arts and teaching the martial arts has become a business enterprise just as much as it's become a service of love, a ranking system did become necessary. In my school, we use first not just a belt ranking system, but we use a different color stripe system within each rank in order to help the student and their parents understand where they are within each belt rank itself. This ranking system has 8 colored stripes that go with it. We'll begin with discussing the red stripe. The red stripe is our stripe for good grades. Each student is required to have good grades in school, 3.0, be average or better on their grade point average. This is from elementary, junior high, and high school. This is to reinforce the need to always be learning and studying and growing in knowledge. It is also to pay respect to the tradition of the Warang warriors in that they were scholars first and warriors second. Next, we have our orange stripe. This stripe is our technique stripe. It is for stances, hand, arm, and leg and foot techniques, kicking and punching. This stripe is given to the student that not only learns how to do the individual strikes, but learns how to use them in combinations with each other. Next, we have the green stripe. The green stripe is our flexibility and athletic conditioning stripe, awarded to the student who increases from their previous rank level their ability to continue without stopping, increasing their flexibility, and even in time beginning a personal weight training program. Next, we have our purple stripe. The purple stripe is known as the specialty technique stripe. It is awarded for the student who learns and masters the basic philosophies and techniques of the various arts that we practice. While Tae-Kwon-Do is the foundational art upon which we have grafted other arts into, it is necessary for each student to independently learn the techniques and philosophies of Kenpo, Hapkido, Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Jiu-Jitsu, Wing Chun, and Muay Thai. Next, we have the black stripe. The black stripe is for katas, blocks, and learning of the history of the martial arts, not just Taekwondo in general, but the history of the martial arts worldwide. Next, we have the blue stripe. The blue stripe is our sparring stripe. Each student is required to be able to spar full contact, not point sparring, with the commensurate control and ability to work with other students, as well as to use all of the techniques that they have learned up to their rank level. Next, we have our white stripe. The white stripe is the loyalty and service to the school stripe. Not just service to the school, picking up trash or helping other students in times of need, but helping everybody in your community, seeing things that need to be done, and proactively taking care of those needs without being asked or directed. Finally, we have our yellow stripe. Yellow stripe is the good attitude stripe, the humility stripe, the stripe that says that this individual has remained teachable and willing to learn and to be corrected. Next, we will go over our basic belt ranking system. Like with most styles, we use a color system. All students begin with a white belt. Next, we have the high white, then the yellow belt, and then the high yellow belt. Next, we have the orange belt. The orange belt is a weapons belt. Within the orange belt, you are required to learn the weapons of nunchuck, eskrima stick, and tonfa. Next, we have our green belt. What is special about the green belt level is that at this rank, the student is required to keep a teaching log so that they can record how often they teach and begin learning the process of teaching properly and working with other people. Next, we have our high green belt. Following that, we have our purple belt. The purple belt is also a weapons belt. Within the purple belt, the student is required to learn bow staff and sai. Next we have blue belt, and then our high blue belt. This begins the senior ranks. In blue belt, it is the prerogative and the responsibility to ensure that the school is running properly, and students are required to not just earn the blue belt, but to become the blue belt and to treat it with the appropriate respect and humility, as a leader is only a servant of the follower. Next, we have the red belt. This is also a weapons belt. The red belt is the blades belt. You are required to learn knives, both use and fighting with, as well as swords. Next, we have the high red belt. After the high red, we have the brown belt. And then finally, in the color system, we have the high brown. The high brown belt is a teaching belt, but it is also a weapons belt. The student in the high brown level must learn firearms, must take a concealed carry firearms class, and be familiar with how to properly use a gun. It is not required that the student own a gun or carry one with them, just that they understand and respect what a gun is, how to defend themselves against it, and how to remove it from somebody else's possession if being used against them. Within the black belt level, it begins with black belt, no dan. This is because the student is still learning how to teach. And once they have certified basic proficiency in teaching, they are awarded the first dan, the first stripe on their belt. Within the black belt levels, it proceeds up to 5th dan, which is then titled as master. 9th dan, or grandmaster, is the highest rank that an individual may earn within our school. Some schools do proceed to a 10th dan, or 10th stripe on their belt. It is our personal philosophy that 10th dan means mastered and perfect in all things, and we do not believe that this is an attainable goal within this life. Each student should practice at home approximately 20 to 30 minutes each day. Stretching is the number one most important thing to be doing to practice, but practicing can consist of shadow boxing, stretching, basic technique rendition, as well as running, other physical activities, and practicing your katas and blocks. Being a martial artist is a lifetime commitment of service and discipline to yourself and to the people around you. For a martial artist is known not just by their discipline and not just by their ability to perform feats of tremendous physical abilities, but by their compassion and their ability to comfort and balance the world around them and the hearts of the people that they come in contact with. This concludes the introduction video. Please subscribe to this channel, as many more videos will be produced. Some videos will display basic techniques. Other videos will display advanced techniques in great detail. As you subscribe and continue to review these videos, you will be able to continue your training when not in class and be able to earn rank advancements as you communicate with your primary instructor who is overseeing your training, even though your training is conducted over the internet. Thank you and have a great day.